We're Janine and Joe, and you're watching our channel, Nova Scotia Land and Sea. Please subscribe and join us while we share what we learn while sailing and fixing up our first sailboat. After a summer of practice, we've gotten into a groove getting the boat ready for a sail. We tie the dinghy onto the mooring, we take the cover off the mainsail and hook up the halyard. We place the captain's chair and close all of the safety lines. We switch over to the starter battery, turn on the main panel and instruments. We grab the radio and throw on our life jackets. We do a quick inspection of the rigging and the engine, and we adjust the dodger. The whole process takes about 15 or 20 minutes. We're back on rail. Last weekend when we had the boat out, we were just doing a little troubleshooting because our Yanmar engine was vibrating what seemed to be excessively. It was going back and forth, but after reading around online, we discovered that diesel engines like to be pushed harder rather than lighter. So when we went above 2,000 RPMs, everything kind of smoothed out. If you're having engine vibration troubles, make sure you're pushing the engine sufficiently first before looking into other issues.
All right. So on the topic of our engine, one of the reasons that this boat in particular appealed to us and that we wanted to buy it is because the engine had fairly recently been replaced at the time when we had bought it. A lot of the boats that we looked at in our budget were boats that were from the 70s, late 70s, from the 80s, and they still had their original engines.
Yeah, so like our boat was manufactured in 1989. It was replaced within, a couple of years of us buying the boat. So, the original engine probably ran for about 30 years, and now we have a fairly new engine. It's a Yanmar 2GM20F. It's the AEU edition, which means ours, the more recent ones weren't manufactured in Japan. They were manufactured in Europe. This should last us a long time. A diesel engine should serve a boat for, 10,000 to 12,000 operating hours. Now that's really going to depend on how often you drive the boat. It might last you 30 years, it might last you 20, it might last you 50. It all depends on how much you use it and how well you maintain it. So maintenance is a big deal with these engines, but really they go for a really, really long time, probably more than a car engine, because you're not putting as many miles on it. So that gave us a lot of comfort just knowing, hey, we're not going to have to, delve out $15,000 for a new engine at some point in the near future. So we're happy to have the engine that we do, and we're going to be maintaining it as diligently as possible. The first year we kind of just changed the oil out and topped off the cooling fluid. But, this year when we're on the hard, we're going to be digging into we're going to change the cooling fluid. We're going to change the oils again. We have to change the impeller. We're going to change all of the fuel filters, and then the vibration that we're having from the engine. We're just going to have to investigate a little bit. Maybe we just need to rev the engine higher. Maybe the engine mounts need to be replaced. Maybe an alignment needs to be done with the propeller shaft. So those are the things we're going to be looking into to make sure that this engine serves us diligently for years to come.
Yeah. And last year, since it was our first year owning a sailboat, we had help with winterizing the engine. A friend of ours who was helping us with the boat buying process came and he showed us how to winterize the engine. So we'll be doing that this year ourselves, and we'll be showing you that process, of course.
Yeah, it's going to be sad, but can't wait to show you. Just doing a couple of quick checks before we go sailing today. Some of the things I look at on the engine, first of all, is under the engine. I look to see if there's any liquids that came out, and it's still very dry here, so I'm very confident there's no fluids leaking from the engine. Every once in a while, I'll look at these rubber parts as well, see if there's no real cracking on them yet, but we'd like to have an extra pair on hand for when they do need to be replaced. I'll look at the coolant Coolant is exactly where it should be. I didn't change it this year, just kind of topped it off a little bit. Down here we have our impeller, kind of behind here. I'll have to check that in the fall. We didn't check that this year, so it's probably due to be replaced at this point, but there's still water running through the engine. And there's a fuel filter here. This is something else we didn't do last year. We'll have to do it this year, change those fuel filters out and make sure everything's good there. Something we'll have to take a closer look at as well is the engine mounts. I don't see any real crack. There's a little bit of dirt. I don't see a whole lot of cracking, but you know, that could be part of the reason why our engine vibrates a bit. So we'll have to take a closer look at that. And then for oil, we check our oil right here, our engine oil. And then you'll see an orange knob back there, and that's the gearbox oil. And then we can also usually like to take a look under here as well and see what's going on. The stuffing box is kind of right in here where it goes through the hull, so we just want to make sure there's no leaks or water coming through here as well. We'll get this cleaned up nice and tidy next year as well. When you switch the engine key into the on position, the panel sounds a consistent noise that startled us the first time we had the boat out, but it's quite normal. We found the engine doesn't like to start with the gas all the way in the down position. So with a bit of gas, it normally starts up within a couple of tries, and we let it warm up on low RPM for a few minutes. Okay, just looking at the engine mounts here, just revving really low right now. They do seem like they're a little shaky. Maybe they've degraded over time, but I won't be sure until we look around and ask some folks who know what they're talking about, maybe have a similar engine. If you have a Yanmar, this is a 2GM, 20 horsepower. Let me know if this amount of shake in your motor mounts is normal. You always want to check that there's water flowing through your engine and cooling it before you leave the dock. So we confirmed that we do have water running through the engine today. Before we leave the mooring field or dock, we always check to see what the wind is doing and discuss a plan. If something doesn't go to plan, we will know immediately and can react accordingly. On this outing, Janine threw the mooring lines to port while I reversed the boat and turned us where we wanted to go.
It's so nice out here this evening. It's like above 30 degrees and sunny, and we're in October now, so fantastic evening to get out. We're trying to make the very most of the fall sailing season since we did lose some time with the accident with the mast. See, above 2,000, engine sounds fine.
With Janine helming, she turned us into the wind while I hoisted the main. Sometimes the sliders on our main get stuck in the track and we need to go up to the mast and get them unstuck, but today everything was smooth.
Alright, so apparently our depth sounder is not working correctly. As you just saw, it said like 2.5 feet. Which we're definitely not in right now, we know from experience, and like our draft is 4.3, so if we were actually in 2 feet of water, we'd be in trouble right now. Joe mentioned that potentially there could be some kind of growth on the instrument that measures the depth, and that's why it's not reading correctly.
This late in the season, we expect a fair amount of growth on our hull. Enough barnacle growth can slow your boat down by a knot, which is a lot when your boat only goes 5 to 6 knots on a good day. Some growth will fall off naturally with a good anti-fouling paint, especially if you use the boat enough. But this year our boat sat idle for about 5 to 6 weeks while we repaired our mast. The growth also depends on factors like climate and fresh water versus salt water. Janine took the helm again, turned us into the wind, and let the main halyard down while I flaked the sail over the boom. This has been one of the more challenging parts of sailing, as it's a lot of sail to deal with alone. For next year, we plan to install a lazy jack system to make the process easier and cleaner. When we come back to the mooring field or the dock, we do so with a plan, same as when we leave. We approach the mooring ball nice and slow while pointing into the wind. Once we're close enough, Janine grabs the mooring line with the boat hook, while I put the boat into reverse to stop it. You can see me looking at the dinghy here to see if we're still moving forward or not.
We are back, as you can see by the fact that I'm wearing a jacket. It does not feel like 30 degrees anymore. We had lovely sail. We got to see the sunset. Joe did lose his little microphone somewhere, and we can see that it's not on the boat, so we're hoping it might be in the dinghy here or maybe in the parking lot or something. But that's the universe saying that men are supposed to be seen and not heard. He thinks I'm funny. Okay, new environment that you see behind me here. I am at the office today. Usually I try to get some editing done on my lunch breaks and stuff, so I don't have as much to do on the weekends and in the evenings. So I'm just editing this video that you would have watched, and part of the video was that graphic that you saw of the sailboat going through the water, and the part where the sailboat is out of the water and it shows the growth of the barnacles on the bottom. So we use this subscription service, and it's called Envato, and they have like music and graphics, stock video and stuff that you can use. And it also has an AI graphics editor. So I use the AI graphics editor to get those images of the sailboat and the sailboat with the barnacles on it. And I just have to show you guys some of the AI fails that I came up with because they're so funny. Okay, those are probably more funny if you're someone who sails and understands what you're looking at, but thanks for watching. See you next time.